What's up, guys? We're here. We're going live.
Yep.
It's been a while, Brad, Anthony. Welcome back. The
What's up,
holidays
man?
holidays are officially over. Now we kick off the new holiday, college and NFL playoffs. It's the second best time of year, other than family time, obviously with Christmas and all that good stuff. But we're gonna jump right into that real quick. Let me go ahead and get this introduction in. We're here. What's up, dudes? So where do we start, Anthony? It's been so long, I feel like I forget how to do a podcast, so it's on you. Kick this thing off, man.
I mean, there's so much to cover on the NFL side. I think we got to start college. We got to start in the old the college football playoff. Massive game starting here in about an hour and a half. So, what I wanted to open up with is kind of start and ask you guys, like, we're almost to the end of this thing. It was highly anticipated. Brad, what's been your initial thoughts? Like, this is the first 12-team playoff of college football history. What stood out the most to you, and what's your initial thoughts on the layout?
I'm back and forth on it. I just like we touched on one time before. I definitely think they need to reseed. I think that's something that can definitely improve things. I definitely think they need to remove the conference champions being the for sure 1 through 4. Right? You look at it, we ended up with 5, 6, 7, 8 in the final 4. Nobody that got a bye ended up winning. So I don't know. There's some things that can be adjusted, but it's just the beginning of 12, right? There's so many more things that I'm frustrated with college football, but that's on a whole nother subject, right? The opening of the portal, and it's just such bullshit going on right now.
How crazy is that, though?
So that's a whole other thing, and I know we'll get there. It's a mess, man.
To think that, though, what you just said, I want to backtrack on you real quick. The 4 buys lost. Not
the
one of them got a win.
Man.
The one
they're not the 4 best teams.
They're not the 4 best.
There was one. One was by far the best.
Yep.
But
and to end up with them playing each other in the second round, it's bullshit the way it works out, right? Like, that's a championship game or a semifinal game at the most. So that's my first impression.
Yeah, if you're gonna have, like, hey, you win your conference or your 5 conference champions in there, that's fine. They can earn spots, but to seed them 1 through 4, I think is crazy.
To force it was
obvious.
The lock.
It was obvious that Boise. I'm pretty proud of Arizona State. I feel like they hung in and they put a good showing up, but like Boise didn't. Like, Boise,
Scatterbo, baby. Scatterbo's gonna be a Niner. Guys, give me a Niner.
Cam put up a fight. That's who we're proud of.
Yeah, Cam Scatterbo. No, that dude. I think I texted you guys too watching that game. That quarterback played his ass off.
He did.
There was like a 3rd and 12. I mean, he ran. I mean, that dude would have ran through a brick wall if it was standing in front of him. And like, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that team. But they weren't a top 4 team, and they were probably more in like the 7, 8, 9 range. But yeah, I think it's shown. I mean, obviously the most shocking, I think, was Oregon, right? Coming out and laying the egg. Not that they lost, but laying the egg that they did. And then the other thing that, I mean, I'm grown enough to admit when I was wrong. And boy, I talked so much shit about Notre Dame
I'm right
all year long. I didn't think they even belonged in the playoff. I didn't think even with one loss they were a top 10 team. And they have proven me wrong, 100% proven me wrong against Indiana. Then to go beat Georgia the way they did, and then to get by Penn State last night, kind of a sloppy finish. But yeah, I was extremely wrong about Notre Dame, and can admit so, I guess.
They've turned their resume around for sure to turn around and beat Georgia and Penn State, who I think were way better teams than Notre Dame throughout the year. But man, like, we'll see if the storybook ends the way it should for them. I still don't agree them being not in a conference and getting to float through and pick who they want to play and get an easy, walk into the playoffs, which is going to be their norm anyways. A lot of changes need to happen after the season. I hope they.
There's a couple of things that are weird with them. I don't know if you guys heard, but like, the revenue share part, right? They don't have to share any other playoff portion, right? Where like The Big Ten, if you're in it, you have to share your portion with all the other Big Ten. Same thing with, all the other conferences. So right there, they're walking away with 14 million. But one thing that nobody's really talking about, right, that I think Notre Dame, does face a disadvantage every year. They're not in a conference. They'll never have a bye with the way it's set up right now. So they're always going to have to win, right, the extra games to get to the championship. The one thing that I really love, though, man, is I'm not a Brian Kelly fan, right? And he basically said when he left there, right, I need to get to a place that I have a chance to win a national championship, right? I can't win a conference, I can't this, and he hasn't done shit at LSU. And this dude Freeman he's already making it happen, right? He's rebuilt who they are, man. To
One
watch him
hell
on
of a
the
coach.
right, one hell of a coach. To watch, his players would go through a wall, right? You could see it. Doing the fight song, everything about it, I love it. He's fun to watch, man, and he's 38, right? So it's going to be fun to watch, man. I mean, the one thing is, we're all surprised they're there, but they're definitely standing up and punching people in the mouth when it's time to do it.
It's about that defensive run game for them, man. That defense is no fucking joke. Yep. And I underestimated them like crazy. That defense and that running back of theirs is a monster.
You know what's crazy though, Anthony? They gave up 200 yards rushing last night.
Yeah, I know.
And they fucking won.
Yeah.
You don't win when you give up 200 yards rushing typically, but they found a way. What do you think about tonight?
A good game tonight.
You think it's going to be a good one?
Oh, man. I don't know. I think so. I really do. I think that Ohio looks scary as shit, though. Ohio looks scary, man. Ohio looks like Ohio should have been number one from the start, no matter who they lost to. And they had some funky losses this year. But
they lost to Oregon by 1 point on the road, and then they lost to their big brothers.
That's what I'm saying. That's the funky losses.
That was the funky one. That one was weird. They do look really good. I honestly think this could get out of hand. I think this falls directly on Quinn's shoulders. Can Quinn go to battle and match points with that Ohio offense? I have my doubts. I'd like to see him throw Arch in if that's the case. I think if they throw Arch in, they have a better shot. But I think Ohio State could boat race them, honestly.
So the loss to the big brother is the reason why they're playing so well, right? It got them focused on who they really are, right? Everything has changed for Ohio State since that loss. I think it's completely got them focused on what they really are. They need to throw the ball, and they've got a dynamic guy in Smith, man, and shit, man, use the shit out of him. The guy's a freak, man.
They did not throw it against Michigan at all.
They wanted to answer that whole talk, shit talking thing you guys had going on, and they wanted to make it a game in the box and knock you guys in the teeth, and they couldn't, right? But when they get to their style of football, Smith's the toughest cover in college football, right? I mean, he just creates an issue. Texas has not played like Texas all year long, right? So that's where it's like, can they get it going? Can they put together a complete game? They'll go up big and then they stop. That's what makes me think Ohio State, can handle them. But Texas is built to run in this game, so we'll just see how it all shakes out.
See, I agree, but Texas has been that team. If they catch fire, man, it's like a domino effect. They just start towering plays after play after play. Ohio has got to stop the big play. If they can hold them from getting those 30, 40-yard chunks, then Ohio's going to have their way with this team. But Texas has just been that one team. Like, they're just big play after big play. And the thing is, here's the thing. If Ewers is not doing well, Cures, whatever the fuck, I could easily see them flop into Manny and not hesitating to switch pretty early. I could really see them not hesitating to switch pretty early.
My thing is, I think Texas is going to, and maybe I'm wrong, I think Texas is going to try to win this thing on the ground. Like Brad said, I think they're going to try to slow this game down, take the air out of the ball. I don't think they want to get into a shootout where you're like, oh, they can catch fire. I don't even think they're going to try to catch fire. I think they are going to try to take the air out of the ball, run the ball, play defense, keep it low. I think if it's in Texas's favor, if it's low, because Ohio State can match anybody in a shootout. You want to go blow for blow? You want to go big play for big play? I'll take Ohio State. And so I think, but it's all matter. That Ohio State defense is no joke either. I mean, look what they did to Oregon. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty good matchup. I think defensively they're pretty even, but I think offensively I give the edge to Ohio State, which I think will ultimately prevail.
I don't disagree.
Well,
you know what's funny about
I
what you
think
said,
we
Brad?
have some reasons that we want Ohio State to win. So
yeah, no, definitely threw some dollars on Ohio State today. But you know what I thought was funny about what you said, and I remember that, but them saying like Michigan kind of got Ohio State in the right mindset and kind of woke them up a little bit, kicked their ass, and they're like, okay, shit, well, this isn't the team we need to be. It's the same thing that happened last Christmas Day, Raiders Chiefs. Andy Reid even said it's like, oh, dude, like they came in, kicked our ass, and then we had to refocus, reshift, and then they went on a run. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen this year.
yeah, you can lose focus, man, in those rivalry games, right? And make it, a little more different than it normally is. I think if they play this style of game, Michigan would have been in a lot of trouble, right? They just didn't play that way.
I thought Michigan was in a lot of trouble anyway.
Yeah, they just didn't want to, man. They restricted the game and tried to punch them in the mouth, and Michigan loved that shit. Bring it on.
Yeah.
So now we fall into the NFL trap here, huh?
Boy, there's a lot going on.
There's coaching carousel, general manager carousel, like who's going where. Before we even touch playoffs, we can dabble into, the carousel of craziness here.
Yeah, so the regular season's over, and now the off season begins for a lot of teams. We'll jump to the vacancies. Is there any of these vacancies, guys, that jump out and surprise you? I mean, I think for me, Gerard Mayo, that one surprised me the most in New England. That one was shocking. I did not expect that one. Is there anything that surprised you guys or that you didn't expect, or is it about what you think?
I expected a couple more. Where the fuck's the Giants?
Yeah. Where's
Dallas? What the fuck, man? Where's Dallas?
Dallas turned down McCarthy to interview with the Bears. Told him no. And then they still haven't worked out a contract with him, so I'm almost expecting him back.
I got a weird feeling on that one. Do you think they're targeting somebody maybe that's in the college playoffs? They're just waiting to see here because they have a certain date they have to do the interview by. I think it's the 15th with McCarthy.
Yeah, I just think if they're gonna, maybe they're like, I either want McCarthy or this guy.
I heard something today, and I'm trying to remember who I heard it. I don't know if it was on the radio or a video. Somebody said they had a feeling they were going to try to get Sark.
Oh wow!
Could you guys imagine that? That's why I'm asking, because it was just kind of I didn't. This isn't something I came up with. I heard it somewhere.
Wow.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe if they have to go into it with the mindset like we want Sark or McCarthy. If we can get Sark, we'll take Sark. Otherwise, we'll take McCarthy. But because if they're gonna open, everybody else is already having these initial interviews and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's like if they were gonna open the job up to everybody, you would assume that they would be doing these interviews with Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson and all this stuff. So.
Yep. Gordon, are you surprised by any of them? I can't say I'm surprised. I'm surprised there's not a few more, like I said.
I'm not surprised there's not more. That's for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that I just don't understand the New England situation there. Like, the guy finally starting to get some pieces to get that team going the right direction. They know they're not going to be good. And it's like, what are you benefiting letting that guy, let Mayo go? I just don't understand the move there.
I didn't expect it either, Tyler. But everything I'm hearing, and I seen it and I heard it throughout the season, is that like, you remember when he called his players soft?
Yeah,
and that like pissed all his players off. Like, in my opinion, like it shocked me. But I also, like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, good for Bob Kraft. And Bob Kraft came out and goes like, "This is on me. Like I made a mistake. He wasn't ready to be a head coach." And I think he proved it throughout the year. You know, he came out at the beginning of free agency, was like, "We're going to go spend all kinds of money." Then a day later, it was like, we're not going to spend as much. Like, he wasn't good in front of the media. He wasn't, the way he spoke, he kind of spoke out of pocket a few times as a head coach, and that's tough. So, like, I think there's something to be said about when you fuck up, just being able to be like,
That's
I
right.
fucked up as an owner, and let's make a change now, and let's not let it snowball into a bigger thing. I think we all talked about it. I think I was pretty 50-50 on the Raiders job. The one that in that for the Raiders, it's the GM for me. I'm pretty shocked about that, if I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that dude had a stellar draft last year. Nailed the first 3 rounds with Bowers, JPJ, and DJ Glaze as the right tackle. Like, I thought he had a pretty good draft, but in the same breath, as a Raider fan, and you crave stability and you crave alignment from the top down, from owner, GM, head coach, that's obviously what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
With Brady now involved. So you have to root for it, but it still shocked me because the dude had a really good draft.
You know who I quietly, and I don't know if you know much about him, you know who I quietly wouldn't mind seeing the Raiders take on? Would be that 39-year-old offensive coordinator from the Buck, Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen, yeah.
And he's a Sean McVay assistant, dude. He was under him for a while. He's turned Baker Mayfield around by a mile. Like, I think he either goes to, he's got, in my opinion, that Liam Cohen guy's got 3 options. Go to Oakland, get a quarterback you want, and make that trade to where they can start building that team the right way. Or he goes to the Bears with a team that's got a great quarterback. Or he goes to Jacksonville with another great quarterback. Like,
or the Titans, they have top pick.
Yeah, but like, if we look at teams, and this is why I like the Raiders. I think the Raiders have gotten pieces that are there. They just need a fucking quarterback. You haven't had a quarterback to run a team. Like, there's some more help they need. But out of all the teams you look at, like, I mean, I could, like, New England, I would not want to touch New England's situation. The Giants, which obviously they're not looking for, I wouldn't want to touch their situation. The Jets, I wouldn't want to touch.
I think you're wrong, dude. I think you're wrong about that New England situation. They got their quarterback. They got a couple of good receivers. They have like $130, $140 million in cap space this offseason. They have a top, 4 pick or something like that. Like, I think that New England job is a pretty crazy job.
They go get T. Higgins, like a lot of people think.
Oh, they can go sign T. Higgins. Yeah,
they get Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel ends up there, man.
That's who I actually think ends up there.
That's actually one of the reasons why I think Kraft decided, right, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to admit I made the mistake. He wants Vrabel, man. That's a Patriot guy. That's the feeling I have there.
Me too.
The Raiders, Anthony, did you hear the Brady reaching out to Belichick?
I did.
That little flirt, right? Like, and so then it's like, well, there's multiple teams reaching out to Belichick now, is what people are saying. It would cost them $10 million.
You guys
to get him out of their contract right now.
Probably Brian Flores.
Yeah,
I heard Brian Flores and that assistant GM in Minnesota might be a package deal. So Grigson was it's Ryan Grigson. He was a GM for Indianapolis way back in the day when McAfee was there. And McAfee came out and talked about like how good of a dude he was, but he was early in his like being a general manager and he kind of didn't handle people the best way. But he had Drew Rosenhaus on the show yesterday. And Rosenhaus was talking about how big of a stud that guy is and that they heard that Flores and Grigson might be a package deal for head coach and GM. So that obviously opens up the Raiders and Jets as a team that needs both. So I could see that, but I think they're going to probably lean a little more offensively than defensive. That's just my gut. I have no idea.
I think the Bears are an intriguing opening.
I
mean, it'll be interesting to see. You
said the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears.
I'm calling it now, dude. Cliff Kingsbury is going to the Bears, bro.
Well, it would be nice, but
that's like the most perfect situation for him, dude. You get him.
Well, why hasn't he interviewed anywhere?
He's not even getting interviews.
I don't know. I just think it just sits. I mean, well, they're still in the playoffs. Like they still got things going on. A lot of these coaches won't. They won't. They'll tell them I'm not interviewing until I'm done or out. Like,
well, a lot of these guys, I guess, Brad, maybe I'm wrong, but like there's a ton of interviews going on right now with playoff coaches, but I think most of these guys are on first round buys. Like Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, they're on a bye this week, so maybe that's why.
yeah.
But the one that made me scratch my head the most, I've heard so many great things about this. The Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator in Detroit. What about him turning down, like refusing to interview with New England?
Well,
what the hell is that all about?
I mean,
he sucks. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, he's a long-term Jet. I don't know. I don't know.
Like
maybe that's
who was it got drafted, and they're like, I'm not playing for him.
Eli.
Yeah, I'm not playing for him.
John Elway.
You fucking traded me. I'm not playing for him.
I hope Shador does that shit this year. Like I ain't going nowhere but Vegas. Fuck you guys. And then we get prime time. And
I'm totally curb on whatever reason I thought of it. Have you seen that new Oakland A's? Well, now the Las Vegas Athletic Stadium they're building.
The one in Vegas, right at the by the Tropicana.
Freaking awesome looking, dude. It's like badass. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. That's just gonna be a traffic nightmare because it's right at the edge of the strip.
It's terrible, dude.
Holy shit, dude.
Baseball every other night too.
The airport's about a quarter mile away. It's
just awful. That's the road you take to the airport and everything. It's right there.
They'll figure something out where it blocks off the strip where you can't access it from there. That they're gonna have to.
No bullshit. That they're gonna want everybody to be able to walk from the strip.
Now to walk, yes,
they're gonna
walk.
be staying at Excalibur. Walk. Yeah,
like
they're gonna be staying at Excalibur, drinking beer on the way over. Like I'm gonna go to a game. Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna go to the game when that thing opens up. Like,
but that road's they've got to find a way to shut that down where you can't drive there from there. You got to go around a backside.
I'm surprised it's not a little more off the strip. Like the Raiders is essentially on the strip, but it's just the other side of the freeway. Like it's as close to the strip as you can get without having to deal with strip traffic.
But that's what Vegas wants. They want that big awe and shine when you come into that town. Did you drive into that town? You've got all the massive fucking casinos. Then you got the freaking black hole right here, which I will say is a phenomenal looking stadium, man. I thoroughly enjoyed going there and watching the Niners beat that ass last 2 years ago.
They didn't beat ass. They won in overtime.
Hey, W, baby. That's all that matters.
Raiders were playing. What's the quarterback that took over for Carr? Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham was their starting quarterback, and you guys were like 13-2 and went to overtime. And lost. You guys suck. So
Devontae Adams caught a couple touchdowns that game too.
Dude, he had like 200 yards.
Yeah. That's when we won that parlay when we were sitting there.
Yeah, we did.
Dude, Tom Brady scored and we looked at like, no fucking way. I think we just hit. Like, I think we hit.
we were in separate cars driving to Vegas, right? And he's texting me, hey, bro, I think we should put this parlay in. I'm like, dude, no, I think we should do this one. And it was a 5-leg, like wild-ass one. Kyle's driving. I'm like, Kyle, you want to go on this parlay? Kyle don't know. Fuck it. He didn't know.
$50 each.
He's like, yeah, $50 each. Fuck it. Let's do it. So we show up to the New Orleans where we were staying, walk up, place the bet $150, cash out 36.
Yeah, dude, we smashed that motherfucker.
I love it.
It was such a good. I think I have a picture of it somewhere. It was a weird one. Like,
well, what was fucked up about it was when the game went to start, everything was looking good, and then we needed the Bucks to win by 4, but the Bucks were up 3. And I'm like, all they gotta do is get a field goal. It's got to get a field goal. Well, they punt it to the Panthers, and I'm like, fucking over. It's not like a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes to go. It's over. Like Panthers are gonna keep it within 3. We're done. They muff the punt on like the 5-yard line. The Bucks recover and score a touchdown. We're like, yes, we're in Allegiant Stadium, and that's
there's like nothing going on in the field in our game, and we're just shouting and like. What the fuck's happening?
It was like $1,200 a piece. It was a pretty nice deal. We went and had a nice steak dinner that night.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I lost all my money.
Yeah. So before we get into the playoffs and make our picks for this weekend and beyond, end of the year awards. Wanted to get your guy. I mean, whether you have an opinion or you don't, just kind of get your opinion on where some of these things land. I'm not going to go to the easy MVP one first. I'm going to go to the comeback player of the year. Where's your head out on these things? Do you have an opinion? Do you
Well,
I mean, I know they kind of changed how they
yeah, it's kind of
they kind
it's
of
really
changed
weird
it,
the way
right?
they do this, right? I looked it up. It shows
I
Burrow. It shows Burrow
it
as the the leading odds maker with Darnold right behind him. I think both those make sense. Um, Burrow, right, coming off an injury, but Darnold just because of the whole thing, right? So
dude, I don't know how Darnold doesn't get it, dude. He
yeah,
goes to Minnesota. He's been terrible everywhere else. He's not a bad quarterback, but he turns into Minnesota and just they don't disappear from what they had the year before. They just floored it. I don't know. That guy played outstanding football, man. We were all
well,
wrong about him. That's the
he
bad
did.
part.
I don't disagree with anything you said, right? But Burrow's coming off an injury, and Burrow put up numbers that are like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
what's
If
funny,
his team is anywhere near the playoffs, he's we're talking MVP. So it's just kind of a weird situation.
I didn't even
But I
consider
could go. I
Burrow
could be good. Yeah,
when I first started looking at it and thinking about it today. I didn't even consider Burrow. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, duh, that makes like the most sense in the world. You know,
he's.
um, that makes a ton of sense. So, I guess it probably is Burrow, but I think Sam Darnold
I
has.
love the story about Darnold.
Oh, dude, it's quite the case, man.
It's
Quite the
badass.
case. What about? I didn't even think about this. What about Coach of the Year?
Oof.
Got to be Motor City Dan Campbell, right?
Dan Campbell
I would think based on I would have to say yeah.
and
Kevin
poor
O'Connell.
Andy Reid don't even have a shot, right? They just win.
No.
So oh well, fuck him, right? Like I love Andy, but
Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton's actually done the best job of them all.
done a great job.
Dude, they're taking on like $80 million in dead cap this year. And they're still putting out playoff quality teams. That's insane to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I 100% agree.
Make your pick, Horton. Stand on it. Make your pick.
On Coach of the Year,
Yeah.
Dan Campbell. It's hard for me to not like that guy, man. I like how he is. I like what he says about his teammates and his players and his coach. It's just the dude's just he's a good guy to listen to, man.
I was shocked about the odds for a defensive rookie of the year. I think the odds on favorites Jared Verse, but boy, Quinyon Mitchell in Philly, like, isn't that like? I just thought he would be like a no-brainer.
Well, I mean, the Rams freaking nailed it, bro. I mean, they if you go look at the odds, they got the leading guy and the guy fourth in it. So they've got the down lineman. What's it, Brandon? It's not coming to me. What's his name? Fist, something like that. Anyways, he's like in the top 5 as far as odds, and then Verse is 1. So, and then Philly nailed it too, right? Like you just said, they also got Dijon, so they nailed their defensive draft, right? So, yeah, I could go either way. Verse is a freak, man.
Oh yeah, they got Braden Fisk. Is that him?
That's who it is.
Yeah,
Brandon Fisk, Braden Fisk, something like that.
Chop Robinson. He's a Dolphin, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Chop Robinson's good.
He's up there. Yeah, I think he was 3rd or 4th in odds.
Yeah, he's 3rd on this list I'm looking at here. I mean, and I think the offensive rookie of the year is probably like the most runaway it's ever been, ever.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, right? We're all on the same page. Brock Bowers.
I don't know, man.
Well, he's messing around.
I like
Jay Daniels, bro.
I love the fact that Brock Bowers came in as a tight end and won. I mean, he's gonna win tight end of the year or whatever that award is for that little deal they get.
Well, he actually was already. We didn't put this in here, but the All Pro teams came out yesterday.
Yeah, he was number 1.
Yeah, he was number 1 first team All Pro as a rookie. That's insane, a rookie.
Dude. As a tight end rookie is wild.
Well, because everybody gets in as a tight end. You pick one tight end. They basically what they do is they build an offense. Yeah. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, 3 receivers or whatever. He is the tight end on that team. Quarterback Lamar, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I think it was Saquon Barkley, those types of guys. So
probably Amon-Ra be the 3rd.
Amon-Ra was the other one. Yep, I was actually just looking at it earlier. And then the linemen and whatnot. But yeah, it's a pretty wild year for Brock Bowers. Without a quarterback. Can you imagine what he's going to do with the quarterback?
What do you think about defensive player of the year?
I've been a big fan and thought it should have been Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
I think it's one of those things where, like, and whether you're a fan or not a fan, like LeBron James could have won NBA MVP probably 10 times in his career because he was just the best player. TJ Watt is just the best player. TJ Watt's he's the best defensive player in football. And he probably rightfully so should win this award. But if it was one of those things, kind of like we talked about with the MVP, who hasn't won one, I think Patrick Surtain should be right up there, but it's probably going to be TJ Watt.
So I agree, TJ Watt is the best defensive player, but I think a lot of that is because we can see him, right? More on screen, right? We don't get to see the fact that Surtain just takes away the field. They talk about it a little bit. They don't throw at him a whole lot. So it's like he's more revered, like in people that really, really know football. But if you barely watch football, right, and you tune in every once in a while, you're that casual fan, TJ's going to stand out more. Because he's right there. He's wreaking havoc on the quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. I really think Patrick should win it this year. He's been probably the most like shutout like corner in the game.
I don't know if I've seen I don't think I've seen someone shut down the field or half of the field or a quarter of the field or whatever it is since Revis.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
He's ridiculous.
We had a little bit with Sauce Gardner's rookie year. It started to trend that way, but I don't think I've seen it in totality. The guy's fast, bad year, long. No. Yeah, Sauce had a bad year. That's why I said his rookie year. Did not. I know. Sauce got cooked this year.
A flip is like woo.
Yeah, that's real shit. But yeah, like it's one of those things where I think Patrick could win it because it's like, oh, it's the new guy, right? And that's always seems to be what the NBA MVP is. Like every single year, now it could be Nikola Jokic. Every single year, like he is by far the best player on the planet. And from like 2007 to like 2016, 17, it was LeBron James. But you had James Harden came in and played well. And then Curry had a good year. And like they always want to give it to the next guy. So if they keep up with that, then Surtain probably has a shot. Otherwise, it's probably going to be TJ Watt. And there's no argument about that. Like he's obviously extremely good at this game.
So before we get the MVP, what about, which I think this is another easy one, Offensive Player of the Year?
Never a doubt. This dude should probably be close to the MVP, but it's obviously Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, dude's ridiculous, bro.
Okay, so that's easy. Who would you vote second? I'm Jamar.
I have to be Jamar.
I'm Jamar.
Yeah, it has to be Jamar.
I'm Jamar too. I think Henry when I'm looking at Henry has the second best odds, but like Henry is a big compliment. I mean, Lamar does a lot for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Jamar is probably one of the best top 3 players in all of football.
Yep.
Now the argument that everyone this is a hard call.
I don't care who wins, man, because they're all great. I just want this guy to win. And I know me and Anthony agree. I just want Josh Allen to win it, bro. I think the guy deserves it. I think the guy dude, we can say Lamar Jackson elevates his team, right? But let's be real. Like, Josh Allen legitimately elevates that team to a whole different level sometimes. Like, we're talking like Madden video game numbers that he'll put up in games. Like, I don't know. It's hard. Making plays out of nothing. Like, awkward lateral against my Niners. Like things just like you don't see. I don't know. I want Josh Allen.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
So, I know you guys don't want Lamar to win the third one, right? And I get it. I love Josh. But it's a toss-up, man. Neither of them are the 1 seed. Lamar has better stats across the board in every stat. When you look at the main stats, he's got more passing yards, he's got more rushing yards, more touchdowns, and there's a difference of 1 interception. He's just got better stats, and I don't know. I know I would like to see Josh win one. Lamar's going to win the fucking MVP again, though. The way I see it going down.
Could you see a co MVP? We haven't
No,
had one of those. When's the last time we had one of those? It was like
I don't
07,
know.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
07?
I just
You
feel
can't
like
see that?
Josh had it. Lamar's it's I don't know, man. It's different when you watch him play. The dude's fucking freaky. Fucking Josh does crazy shit, man. I don't know. It's so hard because I'd like to see Josh win one, but
Yeah.
and I thought he was gonna win it. Like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I would say Allen's gonna win it. And now you go look at the end and it's like you put everything together and it's like, man, you look at the resume and I'm struggling not saying Lamar if I'm betting, I'm struggling not to bet on Lamar, unfortunately.
My only so the last time a co-MVP happened was in 2003. It's Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. So it can happen. But
Yeah.
the reason why I lean Josh over Lamar, you're right. Lamar has him outkicked by a little bit in every single statistical category. But the word valuable, I made an argument with someone the other day, and they were like, you're crazy. If you put somebody else at quarterback for the Ravens, I still think they win 8-9 games. They have really good defense, Derrick Henry, good weapons. Like, I still think they can win 8-9 games. You take Josh Allen off of Buffalo, they're probably picking him 1 overall. He does not have the supporting cast that Lamar does.
I disagree. Their line is ridiculous. Their defense is ridiculous. I disagree. I disagree.
James Cook's going to carry him
James
like Derrick
Cook's
Henry
really
carries him.
good. I just don't think it's as different as you're making it sound. I understand.
I think it's different.
Lamar is a fucking freak though, bro. I mean, if you take away like look, he outrushed him by 400 something yards, almost 400 yards on the season. That's a big difference in a game, man. Those yards all add up and win you a game, right? I mean, 400 yards more passing. That's probably what is that over 17 games, like 30 yards a game. It's just I don't know. I'd like to see Josh win it, but if I'm betting, I'm betting on Lamar today.
Well, I'm proud of you for standing on your preseason predictions anyway. Well, I'm proud of you because I know you predicted Lamar to win this thing. So I'm proud of you for standing on business with it because you're just going to run it that way. And I think
but that's not the
Josh
reason
Allen.
why I promise. I think
I know.
a few weeks ago I would have said Josh Allen, like I said, but I don't know, man. Lamar's kind of closed the show. I think they've won 5 games in a row. They've been on a run. They had to go on a run, right? Everybody was questioning them for a little bit. We were talking shit about it, right? What's going to happen with them? But they're by far one of the teams on the run right now. So I can't wait.
And they're gonna lose in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't think so.
Fucking hilarious.
Speaking of
and then he's gonna
predictions,
and then he's gonna win MVP. And everybody's gonna be like, "Man, this guy's won 3 MVPs. Yet has he won more than 1 playoff game? Crazy."
He's not losing tomorrow night. So speaking of standing on preseason predictions, I have no reason. I'm not altering my pick. I picked it in the preseason. I had Lions, Bills going to the Super Bowl. But Tyler, you obviously have to alter yours.
I don't even remember what
Brad,
mine was.
The Niners.
I think I had Niners, Bills, didn't I?
I don't know. But Brad, you had Eagles, Ravens. Any change on your end, or you right there?
So I still feel comfortable with the Ravens. I think that it's a 3-team race in the AFC, right? So I'm not going to back off of it. I think they can go to Buffalo and win the game if they need to go there and win the game. KC, we all want to see them beat, right? So I'm all about who wins the Buffalo-Baltimore game. That's who I want to win it. Even being a Dolphin fan, I'm saying that. The NFC is hard for me right now with Jalen coming off the injury. They are very hot themselves. They're playing really good football. The Eagles defense is, doing what they do. They've got Saquon, so I still think they've got a great shot. Detroit scares me. But I have no problem standing on what I said because I think that, those are the Ravens and the Eagles are 2 of the top 5 teams for sure in football. And usually it's the hotter team that wins this thing. And, I think those are definitely 2 of the hotter teams. So I have no problem standing on what I got.
Where you at, Horton? Who do you got coming out of it? Looking at this bracket, looking at who's playing who. Like, who do you got coming out of the AFC? Who you got coming out of the NFC?
Oh man, You know what? It's there's thing about football that I love, and it's a lot of it has to do with heart. And like I know that MVP player caliber players can lead teams to win. Like let's be honest, there's been plenty of Patrick Mahomes moments where he was not the greatest, but his presence, the way he held his team and shit like that would carry that team. I think Josh Allen's doing that enough for his team this year that I really do think the Bills do squeak by on more than just the ability as a team players. It's like the dude's been that close how many times, you know? And that's where I fought with Lamar Jackson. Like when they get in the moments to have big games, he can't seem to step over that hump. Maybe it happens this year because they did get Pittsburgh. It's a great setup for them. They get an easy first round and an easy second round, and then they'll run into a harder game. But I like Allen to take the Bills into the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I want Detroit. I just worry about how hurt Detroit is on defense. If Detroit's defense was healthy, I think Detroit walks through the playoffs with no problems. Um, Philadelphia, it's I think they're just too scary right now. They've got everything right. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's walking. I gotta say Bills Philly.
Bills
So we're
Philly,
like 50,
okay.
we're 50-50.
Yeah, we're just we're all blended here.
Right down the middle.
So
It's all blended.
you already before we get into picking these games, Horton, I'll kick it off with you two. Any crazy predictions?
Yeah, you already got mine.
I already got
I already
yours.
got
So
mine.
you think
Pittsburgh's gonna beat Baltimore? I don't know why. It's a fucking problem for Lamar, dude. He beat him once this year, and there's this like, oh, I got him. And then guess what? TJ Watt's gonna fucking come kicking that goddamn door down again. Telling you,
the only
man.
problem. I think the only problem is they got Russell Wilson. They're struggling, man.
Hey, let's ride. It's all right, baby.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
Yeah, it feels like their locker room is divided, like every other locker room he's in.
You're not wrong.
It feels like they're already at that point, right? So
if the defense keeps it close, that's all.
Right? Did you guys? Pickens was even talking shit about him, and it seemed like he was, but it seemed like he was more grown. I will give you this. I hadn't said this to Steve Anthony because we hadn't talked about it a lot. Pickens actually did do the right thing in the post-game interview. I don't know if you saw it, but he was kind of the interviewer kind of put it on him, right, about the locker room being divided and yada yada, and it was something about somebody saying something about it, and he was very, very professional, and I actually was pretty surprised. You could tell they're talking about Russ. You could tell that he took the high road. You could tell that Mr. Tomlin has spoke to Mr. Pickens, and he has learned. So I enjoyed that. If I'm looking at a game that's kind of weird for me, I'm gonna be honest. Like as much as I think the Bills, I'm excited to see the Broncos go play them because I'm excited to see that Broncos defense in the cold. I think that they're going to travel in the cold. I'm excited about the Rams and Vikings game though. I think it's gonna be a fun game, man.
What? Oh,
I think so too. I think the best game of this weekend is going to be that Commanders Bucks game. I think I expect some fireworks. I expect some points.
I think that's gonna be a big game.
I think that's going to be a fun one. I think that's Sunday night. I'm going to be tuned in, ready to go. Cannot wait. I think probably the one that's going to be, if you're an old school football guy, I think Pittsburgh, Baltimore is going to be awesome. But my wild prediction, and I've said this to people already, is it's hard for me to fully stand on it because I have to have something else happen in order to make this happen. I think the Chiefs lose in the divisional round. I think in my prediction, I think the Chargers beat Houston. And then I think they go to Kansas City, and I think they get them. They played them so damn tough all year. Both games were really close. I think the Chiefs are going to start super slow. Those guys are going to have 3.5, 4 weeks off or something like that before they play again. I think now, granted, it's tough for me because if the Texans beat the Chargers, I don't have that much confidence in the Texans.
I don't have much confidence in Pittsburgh going to Kansas City. That's
what's
even more crazy.
I have a ton of confidence I have more confidence in Denver and the Chargers because they've seen them already twice. And I don't count last week against Denver. Against Denver and Kansas City. That one didn't count. But the Chargers have played them tough, and so did Denver originally too. So it depends on who they draw. But if they draw Denver or they draw LA, which I don't think they're going to draw Denver. I think they're going
They
to draw
dropped Denver. We got chaos, fellas.
Oh yeah, no shit. My playoff lineup's out the window. If they
right.
draw Denver, we're fucked. I'm just like $20 on fire. But yeah, I like to see Kansas. I not that I would like to, but I legitimately think those players are going to be out for fucking almost a month by the time they play. Like I think, and I know Andy Reid's going to have him ready. I think Jim Harbaugh and those boys come in there and beat them in round 2. I really do.
Man, the only struggle I have with this is that they got to go to KC in that weather, right? We haven't seen Herbert do it in the weather. That's where I'm kind of intrigued this weekend for the Broncos, right? They train in the weather, right? They're from the cold. So going to Buffalo, I'm intrigued to see how Bo plays because they've just been so sharp, man. When they had to win, and I watched them close because the Dolphins were one of the ones chasing them. When they had to win, man, he's been lights out. I mean, we say offensive rookie of the year was easy, but in all reality, right, it's only because Jaden had such a great year. Bo had a damn good year. Bowers had a great damn year. So it's going to be freaking great, man. I'm excited for these matchups. And I am excited to see the Ravens and the Steelers get it on like normal.
Yeah. So let's run through these games.
Let's
see. We're going to run through them real quick. I got the spreads up in front of me. So starting to – oh, shit. I just got out of the spreads. Oh, no. Yeah, they're right there. So starting tomorrow, you got the Chargers at Texans. Chargers are 3-point favorites. Horton, kick us off, buddy.
I got Chargers covering the 3.
I have to go Chargers. The Texans are not playing well.
I like the Chargers to win, but I like the Texans to cover. I think they're going to keep it within 3. I think Stingley can do something to Ladd, and then they're going to have to force Quentin Johnston to get in there. I do like the Chargers to win, but I think it's going to be a field goal game. And then tomorrow night, I mean, I know exactly where Horton's money is on this thing. Steelers at Ravens. Ravens 9.5-point favorites.
Steelers cover, huh? And they win outright, is what you're telling me. I'm saying win outright, but I still think they cover. Even if they don't win, if they somehow barely lose, I think it's gonna be close. A lot closer than we think.
I'll go ahead and go again. I think the Steelers are going to keep it within 9.5. The spread is pretty big. One game they kept it within that one game. I think it was 17. That's what we talked about earlier. I think this is a 7 to 10 point ball game. I'm going to say the Steelers with a 9.5.
I'm going to take the Ravens to blow them out. Blow them out. Lamar, blow them out.
That's what I'd like to see, but
I think the Ravens blow them out. Sunday afternoon, I guess. I don't know if it's Eastern or whatever. Broncos at Bills. Bills 8.5-point favorites. I'm gonna take the Bills.
I'm gonna take the Broncos. I'm gonna take the Broncos, fellas.
Oh man, I'm also going to take the Broncos to cover. I think Bills win, but I think they cover. That's gonna be a lot. Ooh. That's steep. That's steep.
I think it's like a 26-20 game.
Really? I think it's a 31-20 Buffalo Bills.
Denver's gonna ugly it up.
Packers at Eagles. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. Christian Watson's out for the Packers. This game was excellent, dude. Remember they played week 1? This was an excellent game to kick off the year.
It was excellent when they were all healthy. And Green Bay's not super healthy. Like, Love hasn't looked great this year.
Turnover machine.
Philly just looks dominant. I think Philly covers by a mile.
I'm going to go Philly as well.
I like Philly to cover too, but I would tell you, betting purposes, I think I like Packers first half. Because Jalen hasn't played in a little while. I can see him, and AJ missed a lot of practice this week. I can see him starting out a little sluggish, but I like. I think I like the Eagles.
Run
to cover
the rock, baby. Run the fucking rock.
Best game of the year, best game of the weekend. I think I'm pumped for this one. I think it's gonna be fucking awesome. I don't know. Hopefully, there's no rain or anything like that. But we got the Commanders at Bucks. Bucks are 3-point favorites. I'm going to take the Bucks to win and to cover.
Jaden Daniels comes out with a W. The Washington Commanders to upset Tampa Bay.
I feel like the Bucks are going to handle business at home. I'm gonna go Bucks.
Quarterbacks on the road in the playoffs don't equal out, but
yeah.
Jaden Daniels is a fucking anomaly.
So I must say, we said a lot about Jaden Daniels when he got picked. We're like, oh, he'd be all right. It's been great.
Yeah.
And then he had that bad game, and then he's turned it around again. So I don't know. We'll see.
This is probably going to be the hardest game to pick for me. Vikings at the Rams, but they're playing in Arizona. 2.5-point favorites for the Vikings. That sounds right. I'm gonna, dude. I don't know, man. That defensive line of the Rams is no joke. The secondary's been playing really well. We look like Sam Darnold looked like it struck midnight on his ass last week against them. I'm gonna take the Rams to win outright.
So am I.
So am I. I feel that.
You are.
The Rams
Holy shit.
Rams got healthy.
That means,
that
means the Vikings are gonna win by a mile. You know that.
They're gonna kick the shit out of them.
The Rams got healthy at the right time, and dude, I don't know, man. Stafford in the playoffs, man. That guy's just
he's something to deal with.
And that's a team that they got a week of rest, but they got 1 week of rest, and they're older. They need it. They're not going to come out. I don't think they're going to come out super rusty, right?
Yeah,
I think that's just it's a little bit different. Whereas Kansas City's going to have a month off. I think that's going to be crazy. So
and the Rams had a fight for this spot. It took all year of grinding to get here. So I don't know.
What did they start? 1-6, 2-6, something like that.
1-6, 1-6.
Yeah, crazy. That's If you took away the first 7 weeks of the season, they'd be the best team in football.
Yeah, they had injuries.
You know what I mean?
They mounded injuries. Puka Nacua was out for the first. You lose your studs like that. Their defense was hurt, and like everybody said, they've just slowly come back. Every last couple of weeks, last 6 weeks, they've gained a player or two back. Because they were at the top at one point. I think they had 19 starters out. Because when I was looking at the Niners are at 21. Somebody else is at 22. And then the Rams are right at 19. And they've come back. I think they've got 4 or 5 guys still out. But now they're I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a fun one.
They were 1-4, not 1-6.
And I'm about to say 1-4 makes more sense.
1-4, yeah.
It's still a matter of
And then they won 6 of their last 7. And the 7th game didn't matter. They've been on a run.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and another thing, I guess you can hope the preparation's there this week with everything going on in LA with all those fires, and hopefully they're able to lock in. Minnesota's not going to have to worry about that. They were traveling out west anyway. Their plans haven't been disrupted that much, so you can hope and win it for LA. It'd be nice to see LA get a win this weekend with everything going on. So I'm going to pull forward that way.
Yep.
So. That's all we got, fellas. Let's go. God, I can't say this shit, dude. Go Buckeyes. What?
Okay, well, real quick, before we sign off, Sasaki's window opens at the 15th. Everybody says it's Dodgers, Padres, or Yankees. Depending on who you listen to, it could go either way, right? I think the signs that make me think the Dodgers are going to get him or the moves they're doing. The last trade of Gavin, we actually have a spot open now already.
That's crazy. I couldn't believe that.
So I can, man. Once we signed Kim out of Korea, Mookie's coming to the infield. It's things have got to happen. And I just think with Gavin, man, Kike, I hope, man, but I got to tell you where I'm at with Gavin. I think what kind of happened with Gavin was he was so looked at as, the next one coming up, right? He was so young. And then he was going to be our shortstop, man. And then he got hurt. And I just think that injury has set him back. And I think the Dodgers just view him differently now. Our team is different, right? I think that I don't think he's ever going to be what they thought he was going to be. I think he's going to be a quality Major League Baseball player. I do. But the Dodgers are so stacked up that it's just the wrong team for him, unfortunately. And I love it, man. I wish he could stay, but once they sign Kim, like you're getting so restricted with moving Mookie into the infield, you're running out of slots, man. You got to do something.
So
And we
Mookie
need a bullpen guy, and we need another starter. And there's still people to sign, man.
is
And I
Mookie
want
going to
Kike
second?
back.
Is Mookie going to second? I'm
they
guessing.
said.
So
And
Shortstop.
then
they're saying shortstop, but the whole thing is if he can't play shortstop, they know he can play second.
well, yeah, you
Right,
got
so-
you got Tommy that can slide to short and played well there.
Tommy can go to short of being, and that's where it's like we've now extended Tommy. I just think he had to go, man. Unfortunately, Tommy is better than Gavin. We've seen it, right? He's more proven. I'm happy for Gavin, to be honest. He's a Wisconsin kid. I'm glad he's getting a little closer home. I think it's going to be better for him.
It's a similar Verdugo incident where we just got too stacked in the outfield,
Yep.
and there just wasn't a spot to put him.
Nope.
Which Verdugo's a great ball player. He's done well, with Boston and the Yankees and floating around, but it's just one of those guys. Unfortunately, you have superstars, you have stars, and then you have, I just call them utility players that can just pretty much play anywhere when they can. They're not going to be batting crazy high. They're going to hit their couple home runs, and that's kind of where Lux is probably going to fall. Just like Cody Bellinger is very similar. Insane stardom at the start and then just plummeted. And then you really didn't have anywhere to put him.
Yep. And I got to tell you, as Dodger fans, we still got 4 to go. We still have 4 to go. Sasaki, they're going to re-sign Clayton. They just are. They want to re-sign Kike. They do. And they want to get a closer in Tanner Scott or somebody. So that just there is more people going to get traded. Well, whatever it is, whether it's Chris Taylor, they're not going to get much. If whoever they decide, if they decide to move on from Altman, right? Like they're going to have to do something because there are still 3 or 4 players. Clayton's getting re-signed. He's not going to play anywhere else. He's going to be on the Dodgers, right? We want Sasaki. We know we need a back end guy. There's still moves to be made, man, and we're so stacked already.
It's so
you guys
gross.
Just wait.
It looks it's a video game
gross,
roster. It's a video game roster.
Like if Sasaki ends up in San Diego, man, they were already giving us fits, right? If Sasaki ends up with the Yankees, it's still close, even as good as we feel. I know we had to talk baseball a little bit before we exit stage left. Anthony's got to go win some money. And
no, you're good. I got time. I took it off because I knew Horton's kind of up against it on time. But
yeah, I got it.
You're good. Let's roll.
I got about a little bit of time. Got about 3 minutes left, but I wanted to agree.
Story of our life, brother.
I wanted to agree with that, man. Like the Dodgers just look just gross. I love everything that they've done. I think they've started to realize what they can build there. Like, man, I shit on Dave Roberts a lot throughout his time as a coach and as a general manager. Like, not general, excuse me. It just, what I mean? Like, there was things that he did that me and you, Anthony, were like, why? Guys that are pitching no hitters with 78 pitches and he pulls them and this year was the year he finally stuck by analytics, yes, but went to the core of baseball and asked the player, do you got this? And they came back with yeah, I got this, and gave them the ball. And guess what happened? Got a motherfucking World Series out of it. Let your guys play baseball, man. It's numbers are. I believe in the numbers, but I do believe in pure baseball feeling. Like, I don't know. It's just different.
I 100% agree. I think that Dave still relied on the analytics, right? But I think a little bit Dave this year said, fuck it. I'm going to do what the fuck I know is right. I played the game.
We were on the phone together when he went out there and didn't pull him. And we're like, what?
Right? Yeah, I just think he kind of, put his balls more on the table. I'll tell you.
Did you guys hear that?
Do not be surprised if Bobby Miller gets traded.
Yeah.
Do not there are some dudes about to get traded. I feel like for the Dodgers that other Major League Baseball teams are going to be very happy to have.
Did you hear that story? I think it was on Mookie's podcast with Dave Roberts, and it was like an hour long, and they talked about that moment. And he said he wanted to go out, and he said, I wanted to put my hands on him. And if you look back and watch that back, he goes up there and he touches his chest. He said he wanted the next batter. So he goes out, he gives him the next batter, but then there's only 2 outs or something at that point. There's another batter. So he goes, He goes, I was going to go get him. Like, I had already talked to him. He wanted, this guy was his guy. He got that guy. Now it's time to pull him. He goes to go up the steps to do it, and Freddie waves him off.
Yep.
He said subtly, he said Freddie was standing there with his glove, and Freddie waved him off. So just crazy to think, like, the amount of pieces and moving pieces that go on in a team like that. Like, Freddie knew, nah, it's not time. And he goes, and he also said that he was looking for Blake to look his way. Because I think Blake knew he was going to get pulled after that batter that he asked for. And everybody thought he was going to get pulled. He said, Blake didn't look at me, and Freddie waved me off, so I just stood down. Which isn't just, you got to feel your players. You got to feel the moment.
Oh, man.
You go with it, which is that's if you've never heard that, Horton, I'll find that clip. It's about an hour-long podcast.
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you? Yeah,
it's spot on to what I was thinking.
It's a great conversation piece, man. And that's
just, I've got goosebumps sitting here thinking about that entire series, man. Goosebumps, like moments that we're gonna see in 20 years watching ball with our kids when their grandkids, our grandkids are born. Sorry, Brad, I know you got great grandkids.
No,
but
hey, I don't have no grandkids yet, fucker.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam, like dude, those are just moments that are gonna live in infamy forever for baseball. Are you on the clock? Are you drafted?
Hey,
you guys heard that? You heard that?
Fucking draft, dude.
What draft you doing right
What's
now?
funny, dude? What's crazy about it is I actually have a league with my buddies back east and all his dads.
You are on the clock.
You're fucking degenerate, bro.
And it's called the Senior League, man. It's a bunch of old dudes. And what they do, it's a regular standard football, fantasy football league. We draft it. They run it all the way through week 17. You get paid out based off of where you finish 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the regular season standings. And then a portion of the money goes to the playoffs, and we do it just like we do it.
Okay, that's cool.
But they run it on CBS, and CBS on a regular redraft league will allow you to strip off rosters, set playoff matchups, and go. So I got second place this year, and now it's playoff time. It's actually a pretty cool thing. They've been doing it this way since before they were taking fucking stats with the Daily News in Philadelphia. Wow, dude, it's a great league to be a part of. So yeah, I'm officially on the clock.
We were talking about the Yankees. Did you guys see the New Year's Eve thing going around that said if you turn on
you turn the game on
5 at 10:14 and you can see the ball drop? I was like, Crystal, let's turn it on. Dude. Let's turn it on right now. Let's sync this shit up and make it happen.
Man, I've watched that clip where it says the point the Yankees thought they won a World Series. And it just shows the air after air after air.
I have a buddy on Facebook that has stickers for sale. He sells a bunch of shit. He literally has stickers, one of which is Ice Cube coming out. The other one is Aaron Judge dropping the ball. And the other one is like the picture of the diamond, 5-0, 2 outs, blah, blah, blah. It looks like what you see at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
It's like stickers. I'm like, dude, I want those. Wow. I want those stickers.
I guess we're going to end it here, right? We're good?
Let's do it.
Guys, thank you for coming to hang out. We'll catch you on the next one. I'm
on the clock again, boys.
He's on the clock. He's on the clock. Good luck on your fantasy bets. Make sure you remember, don't bet what you don't have. We don't want you to lose your house over our terrible bets. We didn't do bets this time, but we'll be back with them another go around. Guys, Anthony, Brad, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Have a good weekend, fellas.
Later.
Yep. See y'all later.
See you, man.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope you join us again. If you could, please give us a like, subscribe, or follow at any of these social medias right here. And if you have any questions or concerns or something you want to discuss, please send us an email at tiltedpodcast24@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day.